apparently blue, although I'm not taking their word on it, ever. Up against Depth, and it looks like the map choice is going to be up to VMX. It's going to be either Sky Temple or Cursed Hollow. And it looks like it will be Cursed Hollow by the end of it all. Blackheart's Bay, Garden of Terror, and Haunted Mines out from Depth. Of course, Dragonshire, Sky Temple, and Tomb out from VMX. So they get the first, they get the map pick. Apparently, they also get first pick as well. So what do we normally see for a ban on Cursed Hollow? Give me a Vikings! I was hoping that would actually work, but I still suspect it would be a Vikings. Unless VMX wants to play the Vikings, to which then they have no pressure at all, and they will likely to ban out either a Brightwing, an Illidan, or a Sylvanas. Yes, all right, so the Viking ban is good. Depth, now they have to choose. Do they not want to play against a Brightwing, Illidan, or Sylvanas? We have seen some Anubarak bans, however, in the last few matches, so could be an Anubarak there as well. One of those four is the high-rated chances that will be the ban, and then whoever doesn't get banned is going to be the first pick here from VMX. They have really, really liked Sylvanas, so if it's not the first ban, I highly suspect VMX will get a Sylvanas first pick. Sylvanas ban, so Brightwing pick, I think, here from VMX then? Or Brightwing or Anubarak. They finally played a game without Anubarak, so they might be jonesing a little for that tank, but first pick is the pick of the litter. Could be an Illidan comp, could be a Brightwing for the global, for the heals, could be an Anubarak just to solidify the pick. Could be a Jaina, could be a Kael'thas. Like, there's a lot of ways you can go here from VMX. And it will be the Brightwing. So VMX with the Brightwing pick, not really too much of a surprise. If Depth wants to show off how you're supposed to play Illidan, they could easily go Illidan Uther right here. But I suspect they might actually go a bit more for the range DPS of Jaina or Kael'thas or Vala. You know, these the lovely ladies of the storm is what I like to usually call the combo of Sylvanas, Brightwing, Vala, Jaina, Tyrande. You know, anybody with a bow, anybody that with wings, anybody with that's a female, it seems, are usually these big first picks. So could go either way here from Depth. I guess they're just really discussing what do they want to run here on this giant map. We also had an Abathur last game, which was tons of fun. You could easily go for an Abathur, Illidan, Uther, big comp here. But nope, it will be the back-end DPS of Kael. Could we now go for the Jaina or the Vala? Just solidify those big damage picks. Now, with Kael'thas already showing this early, VMX, it's going to be the Anubarak. I was going to say, VMX is very likely to go to Anubarak Tyrael. Or at least one of them early on. Now that Anubarak is taken, I want to say it's going to be a Tyrael Muradin. I don't think both of those are going to get picked here. I suspect one of them will, and a Jaina will go with the other pick. Just make sure that they don't get all those mages. But there are ways to deal with that back end positioning, and that's going to be with a Kael'thas getting judged or a Kael'thas getting dwarf tossed, which in the wrong context could actually be a very terrible thing. But yeah, I fully expect to see a DPS and a warrior from VermitraX here. They already got the Brightwing. They might try to hold out for the double healer by the end of it, but it really comes down to what Depth wants to run. And there's the Tyrael Vala. So the Muradin is likely to be up next for VMX, and then we'll have to see if they will go to the double heals or if Jaina will still be on the board. So Depth, they got a warrior, they got the Kael. They're likely to take their support here. And I was going to say another back DPS. So it will be Jaina, Kael'thas. Is this where we see Muradin? Nope, it's going to be an Uther. So an Uther up against a Brightwing for the heals. Could this be the Uther cleanse out that judgment this round? Be very curious to see. VMX, I want to say, is going to go Muradin here. And from there, I mean, we don't really have a lot of range DPS options. Still got Falstead ready to go, Zagara, but I haven't really seen too much of Zeg today. Uther, Brightwing already on the board. This could be a double heals from VMX. We've seen that before. Might be a bit more of a battle wing if they do choose that. Tassadar would go out very well here for a flex. Tyrande, especially if you go Judgment Tyrande with the Hunter's Mark into Vala, you could melt down somebody. But I still suspect it will be a double warrior from them with the Mirrodin. Will they show us that? Now, the last pick from depth actually could be an Illidan. They got the Uther. If they got an Illidan Unubarak and they got those shields for the Illidan, that's a heck of a lot of play around time because Jaina Kael'thas will just hammer VMX from afar with their spells. I wonder if VMX is expecting an Illidan. Are they thinking about anti-melee? Because the Mirrodin still fits into that comp very nicely. Like, as the anti-comp. Abathur. It's going to be the pick here. Abathur Illidan themselves. This is, I think, their first VMX game without a Mirrodin. That is astounding. If they did think that Depth was going to take it, Depth now has to either choose a Kerrigan or a ranged DPS, or they got to go double heals to kind of weather the storm. But Illidan, Abathur, Brightwing. Pretty sure we did just try to see that work from Unicorns of Death, and it didn't really. Of course, that's a very different team. VermitraX so far has been pretty much unstoppable when it comes to their games. That's why they're here in the quarters. So Depth, I think I very much suspect it's either going to be a heals or another damage. Could they actually pick up the Mirrodin here? I guess it's possible. Have a double tank front line. If they were aiming for an Illidan as that last pick, they still could go for a Divine Shield and just shield out one of the squishies, the Jaina Kael'thas. Anubarak likely to go for a Web Blast. If they can Web Blast down the Illidan or they Web Blast down the Brightwing, then they can deal with the clone. Could still be a Divine Storm. It will be a Flex. It will be a Tyrande. So it's almost a heals. It's almost a DPS. I guess it's the best of both worlds. Interesting. Very interesting, Mr. Bond. All right, so Brightwing has to go Blink Heal, I feel here. Judgment from the Tyrael. Vala. Probably Rain of Vengeance. I'm honestly 50-50 with Vala right now. She could go either way. There's a lot of stuns, but there's also the fact that most of those stuns are not going to be aimed at her. So I'm not entirely too sure. Abathur, I want to say will take the team fight option of a double Illidan, and then, of course, Illidan will be Illidan. So if you do get for the double Illidan, you're not going to have a hat on him. If you go for the monstrosity, you can perma-hat the Illidan in these team fights. Depth will go for the Phoenix, for the Web Blast, for the Water Elemental. I want to say Divine Shield, just because we don't really see a lot of Storm, and the only big melee threats here are Illidan and Tyrael. That still might warrant enough threat to go for the Divine Storm, which would be our first Storm of the day, if that is going to be the case. Tyranda's very likely for the Starfall. They just need that AoE kind of zone control. And yeah, we'll find out. So we're joining into the match here, ladies and gentlemen. We are going once more into the Cursed Hollow. A lot of Cursed Hollow today. We've had Cursed. We had only Cursed from VermitraX today. Did we do another match where they weren't Cursed? I think, yeah, VermitraX did Sky Temple. So we've done Sky Temple and we've done Cursed. Yeah, geez, pretty exclusive maps today. Come on, Lotus, move me to hubs, buddy. I don't wanna play with Depth. I think Lotus is AFK. He made the lobby and then he's just AFK. All right, well, whatever. We'll figure it out. We will figure it out, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, that's going to be your... That will be your drafts, ladies and gentlemen. Cursed Hollow, and once more we are getting ourselves an Illidan, Abathur, Brightwing comp. We'll have to see if it will do better than the Unicorns of Death. But until then, yeah, let's talk a little bit. For Gorjester here with the ETS Qualifier Cup number 12. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. And they've been, you have been very patient sitting through some of our tech difficulties today. I do apologize for some of those. I don't know why my camera died mid-cast. I left the music on for a game. Jeez. For court. First time casting. Man, oh man. So we're going to go into the quarters here, VermitraX and depth. We will then follow into the semis, which will be another best of 1, and then we'll have our best of 3 finals. So still a lot of games here left to cover. And we should be on track for finishing up within the next 2 hours or so. So I do think it will end up more or less about the same time as we do normally finish. Now, with 12 cups came 12 qualifiers for our grand finals, the big playoffs next weekend. And the 12 qualifiers here, I think, go with the top 4 seeds of Qualifier Cup number 1 for a chance at $5,000. Finally, the lobby has fixed itself. Lotus has come back, so that's great. Now, I do believe as well that the big $10,000 cup is going to be a mix of the top seeds of that tournament, plus a few more, I think, from an open qualifier, and $10,000 sometime after release is going to be the big draw here. So big props to Ghost of Gamers, Rocat, and Alienware for putting on such an amazing set of cups. And today we will be crowning someone to move on to be one of those seeds. It's very exciting to see some of these teams just climb their way from nothingness all the way to those final slots. Did we actually finish everything? Foos, Jester, yep, we're set to go. And yep, that is going to be the queue. So let's find out who's moving on to semis. Will it be VermitraX? Will it be depth? It's going to be somebody. Who will it be? Place your bets, because we're jumping into game. All right, I'm getting into it. My voice is definitely starting to take a bit of a nosedive as I did way too much casting yesterday, and I still have way too much casting to do today. So I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen, if that does offend. But on the left-hand side, VermitraX, Mexi Style, and Beezy. Look at that. It's Follow with Wings. What a great way to go. Lotus, Escape, and Bim's going to be making up the team here of VermitraX. Elend, who's not Elena, it is Elend. So Elend into the top. Singam, we just saw these guys, Mishko, Protoss, and the D-Zeg. I'm just going to call him Zeg today. I'm going to be making up the team here on the right-hand side of Depth. Really good stuff out of them as well. Like, they played really well on their Sky Temple up against the Illidan Abathur combo, but it does look like Illidan Abathur is once more going to be their opponents. Now, we see this quite a bit, actually, from VermitraX. They send a lot of people there mid. If they death ball and catch a kill, great. But throwing people into the mid means that they can react any way that they need to in terms of the lanes. Looks like Beezy and Smexy have guessed out that there's going to be a lot of people here bottom. Smexy, very smartly not deciding to show that he's in that bush. He would have probably suffered a painful death otherwise. Illidan is going to be the top laner up against the Kael'thas. And normally the Illidan, I want to say, would not do very well against the Kael. But in this case, it's a Kael Abathur. So, sorry, an Illidan Abathur. So they will do slightly better than average. You can already see him pushing in up against these towers. Seeing him into Escape, probably not much going to be happening there. But you might say, why is it 2v3 bottom? It's because of the Abathur and that lack of a body in the lanes. He's just going to really just try to pump out this Lotus lane instead up against a Lend. And that means that our bottom lane is likely to suffer a little bit. It's up to Beezy and Smexy to just kind of keep the opponents at bay. There's no Sylvanas this game, so there's not going to be a ton of siege damage early. Escape and Singam just kind of going neck and neck a little bit. Those beetles chasing down the Tyrael. If Singham doesn't go and get health, yeah, and I think he knows that, he might lose this next duel, especially if there's a surprise Abathur on top of the Tyrael hat. So, yeah, I think Depth has a pretty solid lineup in terms of they're pressuring out their bottom lane as best they can. But without that Sylvanas, without that wave player, I mean, they really are going to be relying heavily on Jaina here. It's not going to be forced back. I mean, between Beezy and Smexy, they can just clear these lanes all day, and there's no Sylvanas here to kind of punish any of these towers. So it's going to be a good defense here from VermitraX. Not really going to suffer too much early. Vala, apparently, as I saw the hit points, is going to get caught. Not entirely too sure how that happened. Must have been a flare into a Fist of Judgment. But still, I mean, even with that kill, it's not really going to tip the experience too much. The top lane tribute is definitely going to be real. So who is going to go up to it? It looks like Protoss is going to be staying into the bottom up against Smexy. Now, Smexy, of course, can join the fight at the tip of a hat, tip of a fedora, maybe, if he really needs to. But he's just going to stick it down there as long as he can. BZ and the crew will all collapse, so we'll be 3 and an Abathur. Oh, here comes Smexy as well. 4 and the Abathur, looking now to solidify a kill or two. Michiko gets hit by the shield from Zeg, and it will not be that kill, although the collapse is real. What we need to do now is poke and soak as best we can, and as Escape knew that owl was coming. Good luck from Escape. We'll put the tribute into the pockets now of VermitraX. Smexy is now kind of stuck top. Bims, however, did swap places. That was really smart, and I didn't catch that on the map. Bim's bottom lane, especially with it pushing up against Protoss, not a lot of experience loss because of the collapse into the top from Smexy. Really nice plays from Bims right there. So, yeah, a little bit of siege damage is basically all they suffered there. There wasn't a kill, but overall, we did get the tribute. So early tribute could be hype here for VermitraX. We'll have to see where the next one spawns. The next one shouldn't be spawning until now. I was going to say 30 seconds or so, but it's not quite true. Elend! Oh, so close. Smexy can't quite get the shot. One more attack would have been it for Kale, but Lotus, I mean, he's really been working on this lane with the help of that Abathur hat. Now, we do got the tanks already now gathered here at this tribute. Singham and the Beetle army is just going to keep Escape pretty much at bay. But, oh, stuns, more stuns. Yeah, more stuns. Can Escape actually survive through that one? It looks like Smexy is going to come in, give him a little bit of a boost. And 4-on-4 will be engaged. Jaina is once more not here, but Bims is soaking against the push. So it's not going to be a big experience thing, but stuns again going in. Michiko got to get that heal, but Elend is going to be the big target there. Zeg is actually going to get multi-shot to death and off to the side. The Illidan was able to clean up for the 3-0 exchange. That's going to be the second tribute now to VermitraX and these bruisers, would you believe, as well. The lack of a Jaina is really starting to show. Protoss is thinking about going on top of Bims. He thought really hard about it, and he decided not to. Had they gotten the kill on Abathur, it might have made it a little bit more worth, but as it is, not worth much at all so far. We do got these Stone Bros doing their thing here in the top. And Lend and everyone has now respawned. Of course, death timers this early on, not terrible. But still, a whole level difference between these teams. Despite the fact Protoss has not left this bottom lane, he has not been able to accrue any kind of significant advantage. In fact, we are, again, down an entire level. That is not where you want your split soaker to be. Illidan now finishes up with these bruisers, and here is the third tribute, and it is bottom lane towards VermitraX. They are on track for level 10. Between Smexy top and the Abathur soak, they're going to be level 10, and that is almost guaranteed now occurs. You cannot fight 10 up against 9 versus, or even 8 as they still are now. It is going to be an owl. It looks like we're going to try the best we can for this defense. The poke and soak is real, but as soon as we hit 10, you're going to see depth just fall back. They're not going to be able to do this. Smexy is still top. There's the 10. And the 10... is that going to actually... that is going to be the judgment. We do got the cleanse, but it's not enough. Singham had already used all of his tricks, and he is going to drop. As I said, as soon as 10 hits, somebody is going to fall or fall back. And it looks like actually both. We do got meta, blink heal, The Monstrosity, it won't be double Illidan's. Okay. The Strafe and the Judgment. So the 50-50 on Vala, I wasn't too sure which way that would go, but it's not going to be a double Illidan hype for fights. It will be the Monstrosity. And now, during this curse, you might want to put that Monstrosity bottom. At least that's where I would put it. Deal with these Stone Bros who have cleared out this bottom lane. We are going to need those Locusts, I think, from Bims down there as well, but so far, not going to be the case. Oh, okay, so there's the Monstrosity, there's the hat. And here comes the boss here as well. This curse is shaping up real well for VermitraX. During all of this, of course, Depth has now finally hit level 10, and they're doing their own boss, and it looks like they will get it uncontested. Just barely, but Smexy Style wasn't able to get into there. Summon Water Elemental, Phoenix, Starfall, Locust Swarm, and Uther doesn't know. I have to assume it's going to be a shield. It is going to be a shield. All right. Now, the rest of VermitraX is into this top lane. They are going for this defense, but it looks like maybe we've seen red. We see blood in the water, and it's going to be this big engage. Yeah, it is going to be Singham going right over that wall, looking for those stuns here from Depth. But unfortunately, they're just not really going to be able to get anything for it. In fact, now Descape is chasing up against Singham. This flare is going to miss from Mishiko. More damage going on top of the Beetle. Is this going to be a judgment from Descape? It is! And it will be the Beetle, but they saw it coming. The invulnerability on the shield is going to actually just negate that knockback. The damage as well did not happen. Lotus, however, doing some big damage. Tyrael is going to drop, though. He's too far forward. He explodes on the rest of the team, but this could actually be the cleanup from Depth. They saw that and baited it out so very well. They will get a 3-4-1 exchange, despite the fact that they're down in talents, levels, and just momentum. Very well played out of them. That's going to put them right back here on the map. And after this bottom combo gets taken down, they should be hitting level 13 before any kind of big next engage. You can see that Bims is trying to use this Monstrosity as best he can. It's not quite going to take down the keep, but still, the damage was good. That was a good 3-man kill. Bims, however, did get a lot of value. Not only did that boss clear out the bottom floor, cleared out this keep gate, and with that Monstrosity almost takes down the entire keep as well. So it might have been a bad fight for VermitraX, but they still are going to maintain that level advantage. And, you know, even if they continue to lose every single team fight, if we continue getting Bims value with those Monstrosities, you know, comboing them with Mercenaries, they still might win. They still might win. Kind of a crazy concept, isn't it? But Abathur things Abathur does. So we do got that 13 now here for Depth. So their talents are in. A lot of sprints going out. It is the Soma transference at level 13 here for the Abathur. So it's the same build as the last Abathur that we saw in the last game. Imposing Will, multi-shots, double Shrink Ray yet again.
I hope you can hurry.
So the double Shrink Ray will be, I guess, for the Tyrael and the Illidan. They're the only real two divers here. We don't have a double Illidan to deal with because we have Monstrosity instead of Ultimate Evolution. Chitinous Plating, a little bit of extra just survivability there for our Nubarak. And of course, the Flamethrower, it's likely to be the Ignite at 16. That's just where Kael'thas really likes to shine. Tribute is up. Everybody is reset to 0. So it's not the most important tribute in the world, but we're still going to, you know, play the poke and soak game as best we can. Flame Strike on top of BZ. Doesn't actually, I think, hit Lotus. Singham is still just kind of sitting here trying to force this fight. You can see so many beetles just coming around the corner. Swords going out. What are we waiting? Why are we doing this, you might ask? VermitraX has a Monstrosity bottom. That's why they're doing this. They're trying to play the poke and soak, but they might get punished. Tyrael got engaged, and he didn't have a sword. He didn't have a sword because he had thrown it over the edge just trying to poke at Singham. We do got pokes now down onto this bottom. Bims has cleaned up that keep. He's going to take out this tower now as well. Likely won't get any permanent core damage, but level 16 hype has now been achieved.
We are blessed.
Blood for blood, blood for blood. I have to assume a triple bloods. Envenom Spikes. Oh, so that's what you get at 16 for Abathur. Envenom Spikes slows the enemy movement speed. Somebody said that in the chat earlier, but I didn't know the name of it off the top of my head. So yeah, the Bloods, the Critter Eyes, the Envenom Spikes, full battle build here for the Abathur. No backdoors here today, ladies and gentlemen. Did Abathur go mine build? No, he totally went battle build. Those are not mines. That is the Spike Burst graphic there. So it's a late answer, but there it is for you, Matty Bad. So we do got another monstrosity here into the mid, and it's just going to start doing the value things that it does. Tribute spawning bottom. This is not the best of positioning for VermitraX, so they're starting to try out this boss. Michiko, however, is not going to look for it. Yeah, they see it now. Singham can get in there. This could be a boss steal on top of VermitraX. The Illidan Metamorphosis is good. So much hit points coming out of him. Escape now going in, and that was the shield on top of Protoss, but a Nubarak is going to be the drop. Uther is now going to be dropped. I think that the small spaces here did not play into the hands of depth. Michigo is now really forced from the team. Kael'thas is done. There goes the Jaina and the team wipe. We have a keep down. This could be a core rush. It is going to be a core rush. Lotus is leading the way here for Smexy to escape BZ. And, of course, there's an Illidan, there's an Abathur clone, not clone, there's an Abathur monstrosity very slowly making its way through this frost shot heap. This could be it. Depth was doing so well. They had come back into this and they were poised for that steal, but the core 40% and counting. The monstrosity soaked up all the shots. Lotus has the hat, and that is going to be GG on the back of a 13-minute team wipe. VermitraX is moving on to the semifinals, ladies and gentlemen, to face off against someone indeed.